Hello everyone. So today I am going to teach you from beginning to end how to assemble a shaker card like this. And then you can create and use your imagination with whatever images you have. What I'm going to teach you today is how to create and cut these frames, because this is like the basic structure of the shaker card, which is one of my favorite things to do. And then I'm going to teach you a few techniques on how to create these clouds in the background. I'm sure you can see them now. And how to create this stitching around the frames. I don't know if you see, yeah, how to create these on ScanNCut and how to put this together. I'm sure you're going to love this class and you're going to be like me, totally hooked on shaker cards. So let's get to it. So here I am on Brother Canvas Workspace. This is the software that comes with your ScanNCut, and I do suggest that you download it because it's so easy. You can duplicate things and do one, two, three things at the same time, and then you just send it to your ScanNCut. I really don't see the point unless it's just one thing that you need to make, and while your paper is there, I don't see the point of doing it directly on the machine. I just think it's a waste of time. Plus you can always save the file and have it for future. So what we're going to do today here is to create the frames for that card that I showed you in the beginning, because I'm going to show you how to put together a shaker card. But what we need here is just create the shapes, the frames, and then we're going to duplicate because we're going to need one, more than one. So I already know the size I want is 3.5 inches by 5 point, no, 3.5 by 4.5 inches. What you do is you click here on edit, click on the shape, click on edit here, and then you tell the machine which size you want. But here's the thing, you always have to unclick this maintain aspect ratio. Otherwise, every time you change something, the other one will change with it. And you know the specific size you want. So you unclick that 3.5 by 4.5. So that's perfect. That's what I want. But you want a frame, so you need another one inwards, right? What you do, the fastest way you can do this two ways. You can copy and paste the shape and then make it a little bit smaller and just eyeball it and just see, oh, is this too thin? So you just make it a little bit smaller, and then you, of course, you click on both and you come here and you just make sure that it's centered. Does it look good? Yes, but there is a quicker way to do this. Here's how you do it. You click on your shape, you go down here on the right side on edit again, just you do everything on edit. You click on offset, create offset line, and you're going to tell it, the machine, which spacing you want. I've already tried 20. It's not broad enough for me, it's just not thick enough, the frame. So I'm going to go to 0.28. Outward, no, because that's the size of the frame I want. So I want it inward. I would just want something created inside. I want this inside line here. Round, no, because it's not round. I don't like the round one. So you just click on the second option and you click OK, and there you have it. I think it's thick enough, is it? I'm not sure though. We can try, I guess. I think I'm gonna make it a little bit thicker than that. So I'm just gonna erase and do it again. It's good because you can see it. Offset, it already goes back to where it was, 28. So I'm just gonna do a little bit more. I'm gonna do 30. I think it does. You can tell, yeah, 30. So again, inward, bevel, I think that's how you say that, I don't know. Select original line, just leave as is, because sometimes you can't delete it, but you don't want that. You just leave as is. There you go. I think it's better now. Yeah, it's much better. Okay, so there you have it. Your frame is ready to go to the machine. But here's the thing. I'm going to need at least 4 of those because remember it, I'm sure you paid attention and you saw that the frames, they're thick. What I do, I actually glue one on the other, one on top of the other, just to give it dimension, because you do need the dimension to make the shaker card. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to group this to make sure that I don't screw it up. So what you do is you select both, and you do that by dragging your mouse, and you make sure that the blue line shows everything that you selected. That's what happens when you select more than one. You go here on layer and click group, or you can just do the shortcut, which is Command G. Or if it's a PC, I believe it's every time there is a command on Mac, I think it's a control on PC, so it would be control. So let's just do that. It's grouped, and what it means is that I can move it around when it's grouped, and this is not going to it's going to move as one image only. And what I'm going to do now is to copy and paste, and you can do it again, Control C, Control V, or Command C, Command V if it's a Mac, or you can click on it, go up here if you don't like the shortcut, and just copy, and after that you do paste. But I like shortcuts because it's faster. So just copy and paste. And what I'm going to do now is to select all of them by dragging my mouse, copy and paste again, because I do want to have 6 of them. And the paper is big enough, it's a 12 by 12, so that's fine. There you are. But here's one thing that I want you to learn, and I'm going to teach you how to do this now, just in case you want to. I'm not going to use this method for this shaker card, but you can do it afterwards in any other future projects you have. I like, and I've shown this in other videos, previous videos, I always like to have one of those stitched lines, because I just think it's very cute. If you want the stitch line, it's very easy. You're going to first, before you group it, okay, so ungroup. So these are 2 shapes. See, the blue line now is showing both shapes. It means that it's not grouped. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this one. You can do on both, inward or outward, but you're going to create another offset line. Go on offset, spacing. No, you don't want that. You want half of that because you want it in the middle. So 15 is good. Outward, because we selected this one, so if we don't want it to go inwards like this, you want to be right here in the middle, right? So this time it's going to be outward, and that's good because you learned something new. Bevel again, same thing. See, you have an extra one, and what you do is you come up here and you select the kind of stitching you want. Let's say you want this one. That's the one I want. See, it really looks cute if you want it in front of your shaker card, but I'm just showing you here because you can use it in future projects. You know what, I'm just gonna leave it like that, and I'm going to save shaker card frames, ScanNCut files. Yeah, that's what I want. I'm happy with that. And what I do, just so you know, when I have a paper like this and I know that it's going to be wasted, this space here, what I do is, it's just a tip for you. I usually just get a border done. I click here in one of these borders, and I make sure that I use this space. I'm not going to do that now, but just don't waste the paper you have. Choose one of these borders and get a border for future project, okay? So there you go. So this is ready, and we're going to go to the machine now. I'm going to export to my machine, transfer. The machine is ready, and we're going to get it cut. I'm already here on my machine, and what we're going to do is retrieve data, because we sent it to the computer through Wi-Fi, remember? So there it is. It should retrieve it perfectly. I already have my paper loaded, and you do that by clicking on this button here. Looks good to me. I'm just going to say OK, select, cut, and that's fine with me. I'm just going to start the machine, because today it's actually about not only using ScanNCut, but I'm going to show you how to make a shaker card. You're going to learn the whole process, and you're going to love it, and you're going to be like me, totally hooked on it. So I'll be back soon. Okay, so I am going to start this video now by showing you how I designed the background of that shaker card. I'm sure you paid attention and you saw that there were some clouds over here and some grass over here, and then I added a picket fence. So I'm going to show you quickly I did that. The first thing I did was to create the clouds, and I did that by picking up a piece of acetate like this, and I just randomly cut this to look like clouds. And what you do is you just place it on the paper like that. Get an ink pad, and I have a blue one here, a little bit of a sponge, get a little bit of color, and you do circular motion. Okay, don't tap, because if you tap, it's going to look like this. You don't want that. What I do is I just do randomly just circular motion here, and then you start to move it around again in whichever way you want. It depends on how you want your clouds. And here's a little more. And actually, I'm planning on doing one of these videos on how to create stencils like this on ScanNCut, because you can create birds, you can do, oh my God, you can do whatever you want, really. I'm going to teach you how to create your own stencil in whichever way you want. Okay, I think that's enough of clouds. I'm just going to do a very basic one here. So that one is done. The next thing I did was I drew just by hand some grass, and I used this beautiful glitter. It's a glitter glue because I like the effect that it gives. And just randomly, just do some, it's kind of doodling in a way. And it doesn't really show the details of the grass, because you're going to see that I have a picket fence on top. So, but I do a little bit of grass here, just so I have some interest and some images to help this background look cute. So that's that. So here we are. I think the background is done. So I'm happy with what I have. What I'm going to do next is the shaker card part, the framing. So remember that I had more than one cut. What I did here was, and there are several ways you can do this, I glued four of them. See how thick it is? Because you do need the height, since you're going to add some sequins and you want them to move. So if you don't have this height here, it's not going to work. And there are two ways that I do this. Either by cutting a few frames and gluing them together like this, or, and that's actually what I use the most, you just use foam. See these foam sheets that you can buy on any craft store? And they're thick enough. What I do is I just cut little strips and I put them here. If you only have one, you just put the strips here and it works just fine. It's perfect, really. I actually use this much more often than this method here. But it depends. Today I wanted to do it this way, and I'm going to show you how to assemble that. So you need the thickness for the shaker card, and that one is done. See how cute it looks? But the top one, and remember I got some stitching. Let me show you here. Can you see the stitching? Yeah, it's not really easy to see, but it looks really cool. And I glued acetate, because you don't want the sequins, of course, to be loose and come off. You have to have this front part with acetate, and you just cut a little bit of acetate, and that's going to go on the top here, and that's what's going to hold the sequence in place. But now what I want to do, and that's what I chose to do for this card here, I want to make sure that I have this guy here in the middle, and that's when your designing comes. Wherever you want. I wanted this to go in here, and I'm gonna use the birdie on the top, not now. Remember that I had some picket fence, and I will have below the link for the video where I teach you how to create these picket fences in each size, or whatever size you want. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Next thing I'm gonna do is, okay, Where's the cactus? I know I had a cactus here. Oh, here it is. I want to make sure that I have at least one cactus. My glue is so thick right now, it's hard to get it out. So yeah, I just have some glue here for the cactus. I'm going to place it here so it shows. Let's glue the picket fence. I'm not gonna need the whole thing, so I'm just gonna use a little bit and then I'll cut the rest. So you play around with your background depending on what you want and what you want it to look like. I think this is enough, maybe. Let me see. No, one more picket. So that should be enough for my card. So there you go. Want to make sure it's kind of centered. This is gonna be the last thing that I'm going to. So make sure it's glued. Pull it up a little bit. Get your scissors. Cut the excess off. Don't need all of that. Same thing here. Almost ready. All we need is this little guy. So cute. How cute is that? I think here will be fine. Yeah. And you can add some dimension. I'm gonna teach you how to do this. So if you want to add dimension to the main element, which I do, just put it here and just randomly, you can use, I would use a pen actually, just randomly cut a little bit of this foam tape. Make sure you see that. And I showed you, just so you know, I'm going to have a link below too. There's another video, my previous video, I showed you how to get these little things cut. It's actually how to cut pattern paper, so you can use in whichever pattern paper you have. So that's great. Let's glue this little guy because that's the last element. I think here is good. Get all this mess out of here. Use your strength. And then we're going to glue this, and the last one is the one with the acetate. But you see how I think this foam is thicker than the layer of frames that I had. So what I'm gonna do is to just add some foam. I'm not gonna show you how, but I'm just going to add some foam here to make sure that it's thick enough and it actually glues well, because otherwise, see, this is a little bit too high. So I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna fix it. It's good to see mistakes. Well, it's not a mistake really. I just didn't know that it was too thick. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna show you when it's done. Okay, we are back, and this is actually good because I'm going to show you how you do it with the foam. See, this is the other way that you can do your shaker cards. I told you that you can either use multiple layers of paper or the foam. In this one, I'm gonna have to use both because this guy here was a little bit too thick. But this is good because then you learn the second way that you can do your shaker cards. So here it is. The last layer that I need to glue is the one with the acetate, the one that has the stitching. See the stitching now? It's really cute. So that's the last one I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. You can either use liquid glue, but for this one I like to use this kind of double-sided tape. It's really used to apply. Easy, easy, easy. Just do this and you kind of cut it a little bit, and I think it is really solid. It stays well and it's easy to apply, so that's what I use. You can use it for doing the multi-layered window. Really works. Okay, so that's the last one. and this is going to go on the top here. Make sure you don't have anything that shouldn't be there. There you go, looks good. So press it down and see, you have the shaker card, you have the acetate here to keep the sequence. Let's do the magic. I'm going to use some beautiful sequins that I got the other day. It's like confetti. And then here you use whatever you have, guys. I have this one too that I've never used that I'm going to open today. Just a little bit of stars. So that's gonna go in here too. You can get as many as you want. Go wild. And I think I have these white ones that I want too. That's a lot, huh? A lot of sequins. But yeah, I want a lot of sequins. So make sure that there are none here around the edge. That's what I'm gonna do. Just gonna make sure that I have this edge here free of sequins so that I can glue my outer layer and the frames. Okay, perfect. Now let's get this beauty here glued. And I'm going for this, I'm going to just use liquid glue. Oh my goodness, my glue is so thick. I need to buy new ones. So just make sure you get a good layer of glue here. There you go. And here we're going to finish to make sure. What I actually do is I turn around and see what the paper looks like. Looks good. Just press the borders here to make sure that the glue is very well positioned. Look at that. Give it a few seconds so that it's glued. And there you have it. You have your beautiful shaker cards. I think I overdid with the sequence, but that's fine. Who cares, right? Last thing you're gonna do is to get your card base, and I chose this one because I think it's perfect. You just decide where you want it and you glue the whole thing there. Oh, my thick glue. Guys, I'm gonna fix this problem, don't worry. There you go. I just don't want to throw it away, you know. You have so much glue, but just because it's thick doesn't mean it doesn't work, right? There you go. Let's place this in front of your card and make sure I have to look at it just so it's perfectly positioned. Yes, it is. Oh, how cute is that? Make sure it's there. You go. You have your shaker card. Use your imagination with what I taught you today and have fun, because to me that's what crafting is all about. It's about having fun, and now during COVID we really need to get our minds out of this disaster, and we really need to have fun and be creative, right? So here it is. I hope you learned a lot today, and I'll see you next time.